Hello and good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. It seems we are going to have a Q&A session tonight, like questions and answers about the acoustic body and the acoustic wave. And also Dorința sau Alegere or something like that. So let's start with the questions.
So I'm going to read you the first two
Yes.
or three, and then you can go from there. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so how can your acoustic body change my life? How do I perceive the difference between wishing and choosing? And this is in English. What can your acoustical body class be and expand into 2024? And now let me translate.
Cool. So the first question, how can your acoustic body change my life? So as we know, our body is an amazing contribution to us as a gift. Like, what would it take to use the body to change this reality? And maybe you've heard this before, that your body is like a magic stick. It may sound strange, but it is what it is, because everything around us is made out of vibration and energy and information. And your body is sort of like a key in order to change this. Your body has the capacity to generate energy, vibration, and information, though we didn't use it before. And when we start to sort of like transform the body from electric body into acoustic body, let's say moving the body from a body that is based on this reality, based on points of view, based on judgments, based on what we learned, let's say in school, as how biology describes our body's functionality. So when we start to move from that to the space of infinite possibilities, and the great thing is that your body has a capacity to function from the space of infinite possibilities. In other words, that's the acoustic wave. So when you allow your body to start to function from that, when you also as a being function from infinite possibilities as well, then amazing change starts to show up. It's like it allows you to change, let's say, the physical reality around you. And there are so many examples. I mean, we have your acoustic body class, the specialty class, and what happens, like during the class, we've seen so many amazing changes, because we are working on the body, and there are lots of like healing and recovery that showed up even during the class, even within, a few minutes or within one session. So if the question is what could the acoustic body add to your life, one thing is like allowing your body to recover amazingly from like illnesses that seem to be impossible to recover or really hard to recover from, or it takes really long time to recover from. And also about changing things in your, let's say, in your future and in your physical and energetic environment. So again, everything around you is built up from energy, vibration, and information. And you, together with your body, you can start to communicate with everything around you. And it's not just communicating, but it's also changing physical reality around you. physical reality of your clients, of your own, and also of objects that, let's say, are not living objects. This is one of the big thing about starting to use your acoustic body. And the next one was, how do I differentiate between choice and wish? And it's like, you know, the New Year's resolution. It's a wish. I wish to, I don't know, I wish to change my life. I wish to generate more money. I wish this, I wish this. The question is, does it have an energy? Like your wishes are really, because it's not about the word, like what do you wish, or if you use the word wish, or if you use the word choice, it's not always about the word. It's rather about the energy behind it. Like, are you willing to follow the energy of your choice? Are you like, and it's not just following the energy, but having the capacity to sense it, to perceive that energy, to perceive as a being and sense it with your body. And when you are, let's say, when you align through your body and as a being with the energy of your choice, then amazing change starts to show up, because that's the moment when you sort of like communicate with the whole universe and you start to realign the whole universe of yours, and things start to change. Like new possibilities starting to show up, your relationship goes to a different direction, your life goes to a different direction, your business starts to go into that direction that you are looking for. And so let's say this is a huge difference between the two. And there was a question, what can the acoustic, like your acoustic body class can be in 2024, and what it can expand into. Like every time when we hold a class, it is expanding. And even since last time, it expanded so much. Like there is sort of like new ways that are showing up, because the class itself has an entity. And like when I was sort of like, when I created the class and held an intro for the very first time, there was a huge block. Like what happened just 5 minutes before the intro, the electricity went out in the whole street where we were living at that moment. So we didn't have electricity. I still had my mobile phone and I was using it as a, you know, as a hotspot and streaming internet from that. But we didn't have lights, and it was like 10 p.m., dark night. So we were using like candle lights and all kind of things. And when I finished with the introduction about the class, then the power came back. Like it was like finished with the topic itself, and then we had a few words to the people like looking forward to meeting you and so on, and then the power came back, and it was really strange, like what is happening, and started to ask questions, and there was a sensation and awareness that there was like an entity sort of like interfering with us. And you know, the first idea for everyone, like, oh, it's an entity, we have to clear it, get rid of it, like it has to be something like a bad entity. And what came up, that entity was the guardian of the earth, and the target was, or their mission was, that whenever I speak about this topic, it has to be in a way that the people can get like 80% of the information, because this information came to light on Earth like thousands of years ago, many times, and people were using or abusing that information, and and it created like, you know, devastation on the planet. So, and these entities are sort of like always adding information to it to make it clearer for the people and easier to use it. But there is one part that we cannot miss, that like with any tool, you need to practice. it's a way of because the whole thing is about being an infinite being and living with that power and with those capacities of the infinite being that you truly be. For example, you know, like you can read about how to ride a bike, but you start to practice it and it's different. If you never practice it, you will never know whether you can ride a bike. For some people, it happens very quickly. For some people, it takes more time and more effort and more energy. So with any other tools, that's true. You need to start to practice and use it in your real life and see how it works for you. Okay. Cool. So there is a next question, like what is contribution? Okay.
Actually, Rocco, is sort of the same question. What is wishing and what is choosing, and which one of them is contribution, wishing or choosing? And then what else is possible? What contribution can we be for each other?
Okay.
And then the next
Can
question.
I respond to this?
Okay.
Thank you. So
Let me just translate.
Thank you. Like what contribution can we be to each other? It's really amazing that I'm sure you've heard it 1,000 times that, you know, like we are people on the earth and we are like separate beings. Like each of us has a body and a being. And even if you have a partner, even if you have a child, you are still separate. Even if you have a neighbor or you have people that you are working with, you are still separate. And oftentimes we think that we are alone or we cannot create a change alone. We have to get together in groups and create a change together because then the energy is greater. But a lot of times we cannot find a group of people that we could get together. And there is one thing that we rarely discuss, which is like you as an infinite being, it's up to you. What do you function from? Do you function from being like a single person, separated from the whole universe? Or do you truly desire to live your very nature, which is being in communion? And communion means that you are not separate. That means you are present with the planet, with the energies. You are present with animals, with the nature. You are present with the whole solar system, with other, let's say, living beings, with entities, with everything. You are present with the whole consciousness and everything beyond that. And you're also present with all energies and all capacities, all skills and all techniques or modalities. So there is nothing hidden from you. You are not separate from anything and anyone. And actually there is a thing called the contribution process that we sort of like practice and use at the class, which is about to function as an infinite being and allow yourself to truly have access to everything in this universe. And when you have access to everything, then it really allows you to create a change here on the planet. It's entirely up to you, like what is the topic that you choose. Like if there is something in your region, in your village, in your neighborhood that you see that has to change, then you yourself alone can start and actually actualize that change. It doesn't mean you have to march on the streets and demonstrate something, or it doesn't mean you have to fight. It means, I mean, it can have various forms and structures how it shows up, but you yourself alone can start and create a change in the world. And there were also many examples to this. And I also sort of like ask people to use this tool and see what's happening around you, what needs to be changed in your world. What you see is asking for your contribution, asking for your energy to change that situation or that thing. I think had like many examples. Just one example quickly that, and let's say this was my example, that I was working for a company and I saw that that company was sort of like abusing the resources of the government, like the financial resources and other things. And I didn't report it to anyone, but I was asking for this to change. Like I totally see that it's not for the greater good of the country. And then what happened within a few weeks, I received like the whole, let's say the whole team, which was like 150 people was working on that project, received the news that the government broke the contract with that company, and the government will take over the whole group and provide them employment. And they increase the salaries of the people, everyone 10% up, which is amazing. And they sort of like started to do in their capacity and complete that project and that task. And imagine that how much savings it was for the government. So it was a huge project, a multi-billion-dollar project running for more than 10 years. So it was a great decision. And I was asking for this to change. And there are many examples that people did who attended the class who were asking for a change in their reality, in their environment, in their life that showed up and happened. So this is at least just one example of what contribution we can be with these tools to each other. And you don't have to know the people that you are contributing to. You don't have to know anyone. You just have to have the energy that this requires to change. And you can be the catalyst of this for that. Cool. Shall we go to the next question?
Okay, so how can you make a choice become reality, like an access class? You chose it knowing that you will have it, but you want it sooner, not in a few years. Do you have to be patient? I am not patient in this moment. What are the steps for like actualization?
Uh-huh.
I'll translate.
Yep. Like any choice you have, and let's stick to this example of making a class happen, or if I understand, maybe it can be that for you either to have that class happen in your region and have the money for that. Many, many years ago, like I also had this problem. And like it was my partner who wanted to, like my ex-wife wanted to become a CF, and we calculated it cost like $30,000, and we had sort of like 5 weeks for that. And at that time, it was sort of like 5 or 6 times more than what we could create per month. So it was a lot. And we were waiting for some magic to happen for 2 weeks. And then we realized the magic is not happening. So there is always this thing like, should I be patient and wait for things to show up, or should I make the steps required? And I would say the steps required can be a combination of many things. It can be a combination of working with the energy, but also making actual steps. And it's always like there isn't like, when you have a choice, when you make a choice, let's say to attend the class, it has an energy, it has like consciousness attached to it, and it starts to whisper to you. But it's up to you whether you are willing to listen to this whisper, whether you are willing to hear what consciousness tells you. And it may mean that when you have sort of like a fainted awareness that you should do something, you need to start asking questions. And the big part of sort of like reading space and reading consciousness is about asking questions. I would say this is like a starting point or the first step to learn how to ask questions and how to sort of like recognize the energy that shows up as a response to your questions. Because when you ask questions, there is a part in that when you are truly listening to it. In other words, you are present with the energy that shifts. And when we talk about the light and heavy tool, the light and heavy tool is an amazing tool for you to practice sensing the tiny changes in energy. It's like, imagine that you don't see colors. Like if you don't know any colors, you only know white and black. And then after a while, you need to, like, you see different colors and you start to learn that there are other colors as well. So as you use the light and heavy tool and as you keep asking questions, you become more professional in that area of sensing the tiny differentiation between different energies. And after a while, when you are really practicing it enough, then it becomes different. Suddenly you start to have it's not just like a whispering in your ears, but it starts to become like a knowing for you what's required to be done. It's true for generating money, it's true for changing your life, it's true for finding a new property or finding the car that you desire to buy, finding a new relationship or a new job, or finding new possibilities or anything. So this is sort of like very basic thing. It's very basic from that point of view that we learn the light and heavy at the bars class. But the question is that who gives time to it, or who invests the time into this tool to make it truly working for you? And yeah, this is the part when practice comes again, that I can tell you, like, uh, it's very sad that when I become a CF, then I realized that I don't know how light and heavy works. Like, it was not working for me. But I started to put time and energy into it. Like every day for 2 weeks, I was asking questions, like 2 hours a day, sometimes 3 hours a day. I was asking questions and started to collect all the sensation, all the energy, everything that showed up, and started to learn how does it work. So I would, and maybe for you it takes just one day, maybe for some it takes 1 month, or exactly the same, like 2 weeks. We are all different. It's up to you how long it will take for you. But this is a tool that it's worth all energy, money, and time that you could invest into, because everything is based on that. Ooh, to the next question. There was something like steps for actualization. I mean, as I mentioned, like if we really would like to break down, and there is a big problem with breaking down anything into steps. Just imagine that one part of it is when something is took into tiny parts, then you cannot see the big picture. So you need to build it up after that. You broke it down. And also you start to make the steps more significant than what you know. So it has to be somehow a combination of using your awareness and adding all the missing elements to it. But just in very short, for, let's say, the recipe for actualization is, first, you have to know what you would like to actualize. For example, you have to have the energy of it. You have to have an image of that, whatever is that you would like to have, and allow yourself to connect to it. When you connect to the situation, to that thing that you would like to have, it starts to sort of like communicate with you or interfere with you. It starts to have an effect on you. And a lot of people stops here. Like no one wants to be, contacted by an energy of what they wish, but just allow yourself to be present with that image or with that energy. And it starts to lead you. It starts to communicate with you and tell you what is required. So you need to keep listen and keep in touch, keep tapping into that energy continuously so you don't miss any information. And of course, if you miss something, you can, you only miss because you were not in touch with it for a while. You just connect to it again and it will pick up the line and it will keep telling you what's required to be done. Yeah, I think that's like a recipe in very short, but this is just information and you need to start to practice again. Okay, so the next question is something like, if in order to wake up my acoustic body, is that enough to talk to the body and ask it to do like certain things, or is there another magic in the middle, and what would that be? Yes, I was right with the translation. I mean, Google Translate helped me. So actually, this is why we have the 3-day your acoustic body class to go through all the elements of it. But let's say, basically, of course, there is a magic to it because you have to connect to space of infinite possibilities, to the acoustic wave of who you are. And this is also why we have those body processes that we run and practice on each other to sort of like get rid of all the thing that is blocking you, that is sort of like implanted into the body and implanted into the being, that is keeping you and your body in a limited space that doesn't allow you to change the space that you are functioning from. Because as long as you are functioning from problems, or you are functioning from your illness, you're functioning from a problem in your relationship, or you're functioning from a financial problem, you sort of like keep recreating the same problem, or you keep sort of like solidifying that problem. And this whole space that we are functioning from has to change in order for the whole thing to change with ease. And that's why we have all these body processes to allow the body to change and the being to change as well, because it's not just body process, but processes for the being at the same time. So we can say there is a magic behind it, but it's nothing that you cannot learn or you cannot practice. It's all about, it's information that you can learn and you can practice, and it starts to work. Okay, there was the next one. When you replace I want with I wish, or
Should I go on?
please,
So
yeah,
when you replace I want with I wish, isn't this the first step to get out of need and actually choose?
uh-huh. I mean, maybe you've heard that like the word want has like 27 or 28 meanings, and out of that 27 is about I lack. But even Gary said that like that one has a meaning of want. One has a meaning that I desire something to change. So it has an energy for the change. it has an energy to pull in the thing that you are looking forward to have. But more important is the energy behind the words. What is the energy that you are functioning from? And even if we talk about wish, like we can say that, let's say if you want to make it um, like like step by step, then maybe wish can be the second step after want, but then we have to go to choosing, to truly have that. It's a totally different quality when you are in choice mode, or in choice, because it is just so exact. You have the energy what you are looking forward to, actualize. And when you have the energy actually is just one form of information. But energy also sort of like allows you to make steps. So it has sort of like a direction. It has an information. It makes you move. And this is why it's so important to sort of like tap into the energy of your choice. So no matter which step you chose before, allow yourself to be present with choice and energy, and what magic can show up then. So the next one is.
So how can the acoustic wave help me fulfill my wishes? I think the other one is different.
Okay.
Should I go on?
Please.
Okay, just let me read it. So to get rid of the heavy sensation that shows up when this reality, for example, I think there's a word missing here, but anyway. So they have to get rid of the heavy sensation that shows up in this reality, for example, lack of money. There is no sign that it can change, even if there are some magic moments. What are the steps to take to release this and ask from the space of infinite possibilities? Yes.
Okay. Cool. So how can the acoustic wave help you fulfill your dreams, or the desires or choices that. So again, the acoustic wave, in other words, that's a space of infinite possibilities. And there is a difference between acoustic wave and acoustic vibration. The wave it's like a quality. For example, it is a combination of information about the different possibilities. So, okay, let's put it this way. For example, when we talk about to change physical reality, then we use the acoustic vibration, because the vibration has the energy that's required on physical level to the physical structures to change, to get restructured. And when we would like to change something that is not that physical, let's say change your business, change your business, at the end, of course, it will have physical results, but basically it requires information, it requires a different space for you to function from. And when you function from that different space, then it will sort of like give you information or sort of like pull you into that direction of making those steps. It will, let's say, intriguing you to make steps, but it's all about you listening to it. So when you desire to have something, most of the time we have a problem that we have points of view about how things should show up. And that's a big problem, because things can show up in infinite ways, but if it could show up the way you expected, then it should have shown up long time ago. But in other words, like anything that you desire to have has its own combination of possibilities, how it can show up for you. And if a different person would choose the same thing, it would show up for them in a different way, because we are different in so many ways. For example, when like you have your own limitations and your own capacities. And when you choose to sort of like actualize something in your life to make your dreams come true, when you function from consciousness and you use the acoustic wave, it will give you that combination of possibilities that is sort of like matching who you are. Let's say if you say, I would like to become a millionaire, pretty sure it will not give you a possibility to rob a bank or steal money from someone, but it will give you possibilities about how you can generate that money, how you can become a millionaire. So like, and it has like infinite combinations how it can show up. And because life is also changing around us and people are choosing differently, but when you sort of like follow the acoustic wave of that choice, that will allow you to always sort of like overcome all the obstacles and all the changes around you. And if you talk about like healing, then there is like an acoustic vibration of a healthy organ and also of an unhealthy organ. And this is one thing what we practice as well at class and after class, that asking for the acoustic vibration of a certain kind of healthy organ and give a treatment to yourself or to your client or to your family members by using that. Also, let's say there is an acoustic wave of a multi-million-dollar global business that you can use and work with to transform your business. And it will transform your business in a totally different way than your friend's business. It would transform if your friend would use it. And regarding the other question, like why there is sort of like a heavy sensation when things are not changing, or what is happening when you would like to create something, and why does it feel heavy after a while or even immediately? Like one part of it is that things desire to change. Change means like moving upwards, like become greater of itself. It's the nature of everything in this universe that everything is expanding. Even a situation in your life that is shitty, it desires to change, it desires to expand, to become not just, it's not about physically bigger, it's about moving into a greater energy level or into greater ease, into greater beauty, into greater like expanded energetic system or reality. But we are the ones who are sort of like keeping it in an actual state because of our points of view. And when you start to get rid of your points of view and you start to work with the whole thing, then it starts to change. But if you are unwilling to give up some points of view, then it's not going to change. But there is an energy that wants to move it. And, if you stick to your point of view, then it starts to be overwhelming and heavy after a while. And it's all about you sticking to your point of view. And the amazing thing is when you are willing to listen to the energy, then you can become aware of that. Oh, hell, this is my point of view through which I'm like sort of like solidifying the problem. So, following the energy or listening to the energy can give you all the information that you desire at the moment when it's required. It's, are you willing to function as an infinite being, and are you ready to get rid of all these blockages and limitations that are holding you back from the change, from this kind of a transformation? I wouldn't say it's a transformation. It's like to finally be yourself, to finally be and function as the infinite being that you truly be. So is here the time for you? Like, did you have enough of the past? And what is the future and that you desire to have? And is it valuable enough for you to start to make these steps? Yeah. So next question.
So the next question is, how does the lack of the acoustic wave affect our body's perception? Cum afectează percepțiile corpului lipsa undei acustice?
You are still in English. Okay. It's all about changing. Like it's like a question, there is the silkworm that will become a caterpillar. I mean, the caterpillar that becomes that beautiful flying thing, the butterfly. And let's say your electric body is the caterpillar, and the butterfly is your acoustic body. And how will it change? I mean, it allows your body to be totally different. It allows your body to move together with you, the infinite being. It also allows you to never slow down to that limited state that what we live in like nowadays with the body. Like what so like it's really hard to describe it in which many ways it creates the change. But imagine that if you don't have to wait, let's say 1 week, if you get like sick to get recovered, if you have a flu, but all the body symptoms can be changed like immediately or within seconds or maybe minutes. So it's a totally different thing for the body. And most of the time you don't even get sick, ill, or having flu ever again. So what is it that we are unwilling to sort of like recognize about the body? Because the body is just an amazing magic that, like, this is an adventure that we need to sort of like um, walk through, and each and every day, like like we had to go to primary school for 8 years and high school for 4 years and maybe for college or university for 5 years to get prepared for this life. And then, but did you learn anything about your body and anything about the infinite being you are? Like, what if you would study it for 8 years, for 8 hours a day, or just 6 hours a day, not just for a weekend, for 3 days, but for 8 years? And we don't have a class or a system where you could study that much about who you are as an infinite being and how does your body work. But imagine that if we had that school, then what would it give to the life? In which many ways, like, imagine that if you just have one subject in primary school out of the 6 or 8 subjects, which was about consciousness and your body, how much change could show up in the whole world if everyone should have like learned that and study it and practice it, even starting from age 6, 7, or 8. You know, great new future is coming, hopefully. You know, like this is a thing. Like, let's ask for contribution for this to show up. Is this something you are looking forward to have in the future? So let's ask for this to show up for everyone, for even for our generation. Maybe we are old shits, but let's have it for us as well, and for the kids and for their kids as well, for everyone. Like how much it would change in the government, how much it would change in business and in science and everywhere in the world, in all areas. So let's just shoot it out and ask for this to show up and get actualized with total ease everywhere in the world. I have an idea. I see that there are so many questions in the chat. And what if we stop here with the other questions, or like, do you read those questions? Do you think it's like we could answer those as well before we stop for today, and then we continue at the next time? What's your opinion?
I think we have enough questions for a next Zoom.
Okay. So my question is that there are questions in the meeting chat, or these are comments, not questions. Is there anything we should cover?
There is one question in the chat. Maybe we
Please.
should cover it now.
Uh-huh.
So Monica is asking, in which way can so food, the way we eat, help us in perceiving better our body signals?
Better our...
So our diet, in perceiving our body signals in a better way.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
In which way can the diet?
Cool. So when we think or talk about diet, oftentimes it's, you know, we try to simplify things. Like, I want a recipe that I can follow without mind, without consciousness. Like, you know, a diet of no sugar, diet of no flour, diet of no meat, or diet of only meat, whatever, or fat-free diet. But the diet should be something that comes from consciousness. So what would it take for everyone to start to follow a diet that their body so like prescribes for them? That if I start to listen to my body, then would I eat like that much? Like, would I eat like 3 times a day, like a big meal in the morning or in the evening or after 6 p.m. or whenever? Like, would I stick to eating 3 times a day or 5 times a day? Would I stick to anything, or as I'm creating my life, it's like, imagine that you have a car, and you know, sometimes you don't use your car, so you don't take it to the fuel station. When you know you will go for a longer ride, then maybe you go to the fuel station before. And it's just common sense. It's just some consciousness that, you know, if you sit at home all day, or if you're sitting in an office, maybe it's not necessary to eat as much as if you were a coal miner, you know, working hard physical job. And anyway, your body would tell you what is required for your body. But are we listening to the body? No. We eat what we want to eat. I want to eat sugar, I want to eat this, I want to drink Coke or this and that. Is that from consciousness? But another question is, why would I follow a diet? What is my main choice if I come to that point that I need to follow a diet? Like, do I want to lose weight? Or do I have already some kind of an illness in the body that I need to somehow recover from? Or what's the reason? And you know, my question is that what is the decision that you made? You know, your hidden point of view about how long you will live in this body. And maybe no one asked you before, but you know it. Everyone has an idea. It's not a very vague idea, but everyone has an idea of how long they will live. And you just need to be present with yourself and ask this question, because when you finally recognize what's your number for this life, because this is how you treat your body. We all function from this number that we decided at some point of time. And some people are recognizing it and they change that number. Like they say, oh, fuck, I would like to live a more healthy life because I would like to live longer. And I would like to live in a way that my life, even I'm 70, 80 or 90 or 100 years old, I can live a happy, joyful and active life. Like, you know, some people are so old and, you know, they are unable to move, or all their joints are just worn down, and or their internal organs are just worn down and they are sick, and you know it's not a good quality of life. So if you would like to have an amazing quality and healthy life with this body, then how would you treat your body? Just the same way, if you own a car and you like that car, how do you treat that car? Do you take it for oil exchange like every 6 months? Or do you wait for, let's say, 2 years, or for 20,000 kilometers, or for long times, like longer than it would be healthy for your car? Like, do you always do all the checkups with your car? So how much present are you with your body? And are you willing to be like more present than, let's say, what doctors are telling you? Let's say, you know, you need to go to the dentist every year or every second year or every 6 months. You need to go for a cancer checkup every second year if you're a woman, or whatever. But what if you don't give up your awareness and you rather say, fuck, this is my body, I own my body, and I claim that this is my body, and I'm willing to listen to it, and I'm willing to treat my body as the greatest gift on this planet. Because without this body, you would be a silly ghost, and that's it. And that would be a nightmare. So if you want to enjoy your body, and it's really sort of like something you're present with, like, fuck, I enjoy this body and I would like to live a happy and joyful life, an active life, and a very long life, then how would you treat your body? And how would you listen to your body? And then what would be the diet that you would follow? Because anything that your body would tell you would be the diet to follow. And maybe it wouldn't be a structured diet, something that you do every day, the same, like you eat the same thing every day or every week, but it would be something that matches your other choices, that matches your lifestyle throughout the day, the week, or the month, and how things are changing. So pretty sure the diet would change as well as you change. And as you, the being, change, the diet would also change to sort of like adapt to your choices. Because as your choices are changing about your future, your work, your relationship, your financial reality, also it would change like how your body can sort of like support and contribute to you. on a daily basis. And as your diet changed, your body would improve in many ways, and the capacities of the body would also improve. So maybe less sleep would be enough for you, maybe just 4 hours or just 2 hours, or you would sleep just 45 minutes twice a day, and that's it. And maybe your food would totally change, and the amount of food would totally change. And you know, like, there is lots of energy around us. It doesn't have to be something that you digest. So in which many ways would it change how your body is sort of like taking in that energy and making, like, utilizing that energy that is in your environment? Just as an example, like, I remember that when we went to an organic shop, like, it's a shop where all food is produced in a bio, or it's so-called like an organic way. It's very healthy, like no pesticides, nothing like that. And just told to the body, hey, buddy, you are in heaven, take everything you want. And it started to sort of like pull in all the energy of that amazing food products. And there were vitamins and supplements as well, made the same way, like organic way. And it was, you know, the body didn't have to take anything physically, and it was just pulling in all that energy and all that quality that it was craving for. So the body has amazing capacities, and it's a huge and amazing journey that I invite everyone to start with, because it's not just about how we can get healthy, but how you can sort of like use your body and learn how the body is like a magic stick for you to change physical reality and physical structures around you. So let's say this is sort of like the final words for today. And it became much longer than we expected, but we are very grateful for that, because there are so many amazing questions. And definitely we will continue this, like we will continue with the questions that you sent in. And also, if you have new questions that just came up for you, because some of you didn't have a question at all, like you said, like, I don't have a question right now. But if you have, feel free to send your questions either to Silvana or Marius, and we are so happy to respond to it next time. It will be, let's say, in a couple of days. And also, maybe we forgot to tell you, but we are going to have the Your Acoustic Body class at the end of March in Bucharest. So looking forward to have you on board. Also, again, please contact Silvana or Marius with the details and what magic we can really create. So thank you so much, and see you very soon. And thank you, Silvana, being available and at such a late time, and for everyone listening to us and taking your time with this topic.
Basta. Rocco, maybe one more minute.
Yes.
Will you tell the people about the question series? Maybe, like, because you were talking about questions,
Yes.
and maybe that's a contribution.
Just a moment.